I'm the only real vampire here. Hi, Chucky! Good evening, young lady. How the devil are you? Did I get first this time? You certainly did. Here's a question, Chocks. I don't know if you see them. Do you see the new follower emotes? I got approved to go on the beta today, so you should have more emotes. Vampyr speed, you see. Oh, I love this game. Oh yeah, but aren't they in the standard ones? I need to go and check. 2 seconds. I literally was just, the reason I'm late is that's what I was doing. I was didn't I just press that? Let's have a look. Standard emotes. Ah, yeah. The evil chicken is in the free standard emotes, and then the subscriber emotes are the normal chicken, the vampire chicken, the rat, the wolf, and the island parking. So yeah, they're all in there. It says. Strange. Don't know. Ernie Ball! How you doing, dude? Nice to see you, man. Welcome. Oh, that's the epilogue. We don't want that. Hang on. Which one do we want? Last save, 23rd of the 10th, 2018. Oh, see, that would have been the... That's weird. Oh, I started a new game. Hang on, we don't want that one. That's going to confuse me. That's the one. I'm doing good, thanks, dude. I was just saying to Chucky, I've got the beta for free follower emotes. So followers should now have access to another set of emotes, which is awesome. They should have access to like the original potato and things like this. I don't know why I haven't got it. Maybe it's because I'm not a follower, I don't see it. But I've got access to some of them. Oh, I don't know. So when non-followers turn up, when non-subs turn up, we'll find out. Loading! Loading! What were we doing? Can anyone remember? I don't bloody know. I've got my first voiceover video for a while coming out tomorrow morning. Right, I need to move my stream bar. Where do I move it to? Oh no, actually, it's alright. That's interesting. Why did it do that? Oh, because they're rolling out follower emotes for people, for streamers. We've got a lot of talking to do. I think. I'm sitting on my desk to receive the PC. I need pictures when it arrives.
Yes, Nurse Crane? How can I help you?
I'm so sorry. I know Dr. Swansea wanted you to rest, but we have somewhat of a crisis.
A crisis, you say?
Our supply of antiseptics is nearly depleted. I was hoping there was another box up here, but...
Sorry. There's nothing here.
Some of the patients won't last the night
I
without
need to
them.
see it,
Honestly,
Amy.
sir, I'm beside myself.
I may have a solution. In France, during the war, drugs shortage was a daily problem, and we had to use our wits to overcome the shortages.
However do you mean?
If combined correctly, certain household chemical products can be used in a pinch instead. Now, where's the hospital storeroom?
The storeroom? Fat chance. This is the Pembroke, and space is luxury we don't have. Everything used to be stored in the old morgue.
Perhaps I should look there first. Where is this morgue?
It's the large building behind the hospital. You'll need to go in the back door because
Besides,
it's been
you're
sealed
going to
off
have to
for
send your
sanitary
picture to
reasons.
Jay's 2
Take this
cents
key.
when it's said
It
when
opens a
it's
small back entrance at the end of a narrow street.
when you've got it.
The abandoned morgue behind the hospital. A small door at the end of a narrow street. On my way then.
Hey,
Thank you, nurse.
Beyondium! It just kind of gave you the creepy vibe, really.
It's locked.
It is creepy, but it's creepy in a way
It's
that
locked.
I don't know. I really like it. I loved playing through it the first time. But the mechanics are good, and it's such a nice one. It's not. I mean, is it a Vampire the Masquerade? No, and I don't mean the Blood Hunt one. But it's a very, very good game. Which one does funny view? Is it this one? That's a click. I know when he does another one, I will post on Discord for sure. Oh yeah, for sure. Please do.
Yes,
Have I
Doctor?
spoken to you? Oh no.
That's all for now, Nurse Crane. Thank you.
I've been sent on a mission, but I'm not doing that yet.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital. And who are you?
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal. You're nothing but dust blown by the winds of eternity.
I do generally like the
I
game, but
beg
there's
your
so much in-depth
What are you
mechanics I
begging
needed
for,
to game a break.
mortal?
My mind was on
My
other games.
clemency? Well,
It's
tonight
if
maybe
you
I'm
get the
inclined to
opportunity.
mercy. You'll
and
never forget the night you met Thelma Howcroft.
You keep calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal,
You're looking for something to play. I know
Well,
it's difficult at the
Dr.
moment.
Reed, if
It's
you
definitely
must
worth a look, but it's not free on Game Pass anymore.
Vampire.
She's really cool. Right, hang on 2 seconds. Oh, it's in the... there's stuff all over the screen. I need to move the... thing into a... There we go, it's better. Your boy's raiding! Yo, Blue Thunder! Load defensive chickens! Load defensive chickens! Chuck chickens at him, and some wolves, and some rats, and other things. Kev, let me know whether you've got the free emotes, because you're not subscribed. Hey, dude, how you doing? When it's free, no. The next time it asks you to go in,
and why do you believe
it'll
you're a
ask
vampire?
you
I don't need to believe anything.
to buy it.
It is what I am. It is what
Oh,
I
was it
feel
PlayStation
within
Plus?
this
So in that case, it's free.
hollow
then.
shell of flesh.
I'm on the Xbox. It was on Game Pass, you see.
Please, describe to me how you feel. What is it like to be a vampire?
I can hear my body
There's lots of
crumble
free
from the
games out there
inside as my
at the
flesh
moment this
cracks and
month.
fades. I sense the last pulse of pustulant blood within my drying veins. I need new blood.
I see. Have you ever heard of Cotard's syndrome? Miss
But hello, everybody, from
It's a
your
mental
boy's stream.
illness
Did you have a good
discovered by
stream, your
French
boy?
neurologist named Jules Cottard. The affected patients are delusional. They believe that they are putrefying, that they are dead.
I'm doing all right, Blue.
Ghost
What
or a
ship
ghoul.
is she?
Or in your
She's
case,
a pretend
a vampire.
vampire.
Delusional, you say? Oh, sad and petty mortal. You can't even begin to understand the concept of immortality. And you think it is I who am
Who's there,
delusional.
Kev? Oh, cool. I streamed all of Control Beyondium.
I'm assuming you must be a patient here. Am I right?
It was great.
It's only a
Thoroughly
cover
enjoyed it.
to hide from my enemies. I can leave whenever I want. As a woman,
I didn't realise there was a
fog,
2-day
or
free
bat.
play on Breakpoint, Kev. That's awesome.
Who are these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
Oh, you missed out. Oh, did you?
But I sense their
If it was free on PlayStation Plus, then
I
you should
feel
still
them
have it.
watching me every time I visit the garden near the morgue.
The staff here are not your enemy. They're here to help
That's
you,
the way
to care
PlayStation
for
Plus
you.
works.
I'm not speaking
Game
of the
Pass doesn't work like that.
I'm speaking of
I
the men
already own
who
Breakpoint,
hunt
Kev,
me.
so
For I
that's cool.
am a
then.
vampire.
I see.
She is a
Don't
vampire!
worry. These people will not find you here. I'll personally
thanks, Kev.
make sure they leave you alone.
Thank you, mortal. But do not interfere with them, for you are no match for those that hunt me.
Oh god, my thing's in the... my stream bar's in the way. Things keep popping up in the wrong... place. Honestly. A citizen investigation. Ah. Okay, cool. We can deal with that. Any more questions?
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being...
Would have loved to see your
Is that not enough
seamless
for
stream
you,
on that game.
human mortal?
It's on YouTube.
What do you
Beyond
require? Proof of my powers?
I'm curious to know who
Is
you
she
were
the new Halloween
before
captain? Maybe.
becoming a vampire.
No, it was such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have strange effects on one's mind.
All of
you
my,
see?
most of my playthroughs are on there. It's one way or the other. Any more?
I'll
No.
leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal
Mistress of the
activities.
Dark. Mwahahaha.
Fear and disgust on every streak.
Good evening, sir. Can I help you?
Unless you're here to fix my face. No. I don't think you can help
Oh,
me.
really? You
I'm
get a
Dr.
free weapon?
Reed.
Oh,
I've
cool, Kev.
recently taken the position of head surgeon here.
Yeah, you
War
can
interests.
download
You
the whole
guessed right,
streams.
Doctor. German shell
You
took
can
my
export the
pretty
whole
little
stream or
mug
just
right
clip
off.
parts.
But
It's
they
how I get
still call
my
me
games
Thomas
onto
Elwood.
YouTube.
How is your stay with us, Mr. Elwood?
Oh, it's bliss. I just escaped death in the trenches to be surrounded
Twitch
again
records
by the
everything. You
moans
can
of
turn
the
it on.
dying.
Can I ask you precisely why you're a patient here?
It's the pain, sir. The drugs don't work. It just hurts under the scars, if you get my drift.
Poor bloke.
Can I do anything for your pain?
Nurses gave me a bunch of pills. No effect. Told you. It's like the flames are under my skin, burning away.
PTSD.
Who is treating you? Is someone in particular looking after your case?
Nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke to me. Started to think I was
Oh, okay,
forgotten
Kev.
about. Won't blame you.
You don't seem worried by that.
My face hurts so much more when I smile or cry. I've learned it's easier not to speak. But be assured I'm smiling inside.
Oh, you're super drunk, are you? That's alright, Hutch.
Why do you feel responsible for the injury, Thomas? What really happened?
I wasn't disfigured
You
by
can watch
any
this and it'll
German
freak you
shells.
out if you're wrecked, dude.
It happened during my leave. It was an accident.
Oh no.
Why lie about it?
Come on. It's one thing to come back disfigured by the Germans, and it's another to get injured in an accident that could have happened to anybody.
Really?
You know you can't hide forever. One day you'll have to face your loved ones. Until that day, you have no chance of real recovery.
My friends all died in the trenches. It's shameful enough to be alive with these stupid scars. I don't want my children to see me like this.
Yeah. It was the same with
Tell me what really happened.
fighter
I
pilots
went with a
in the
whore
Second World War
in Rouen.
and the First World War.
Dead drunk I was.
A lot of them got badly
The
burned.
hotel was a shithole. There was a fire that night.
Did you start the fire? Were you trying to avoid going back to the front? That's not uncommon, you know.
No. It's just that I was asleep when the flames reached the room. The girl was long gone. Bitch never woke me up. Left me to burn.
Oh, it sucks.
Where were you stationed, sir? Did
Why
you
am I
serve
reading
for
a
long?
stream?
I really don't want to talk about all this
Because
shit.
I put
No
that
offense.
on just in case
I was
people don't
pushing
have the
too
sound up
much.
very high.
I served in France myself.
And some
I
people
just wanted to know what happened to you.
find
You
it
were an
easier to
officer,
read it.
weren't you? Then I doubt we fought the same war, sir. No offense.
How close are you to Miss Hawke?
There's a lot of story and plot
Are
in
you
this.
aware that she
It's just the
thinks
way
she
the game
a
is.
vampire?
To wait for her next
But
nibble is the best
the reason you talk to
stay
people in this
here.
is that you understand more
Every
about them and
time
you
she
get more
approaches
leads
my
and more
bed, she treats me like
opportunities,
something tasty.
things like that.
A normal person.
Aren't you afraid? She may hurt you if the game goes too far.
She's quite
Ah, that
harmless,
lady
I
keeps
can
biting
assure
her.
you.
Biting him.
Her head's broken inside. Is
That's
all.
interesting.
While I'm
He's
busted
basically
on the
playing up to
outside.
her. He's basically
She's
playing to
still
her illness.
Living proof that there's hope for me.
Burn the vampire on the pike? Never.
So do you let her bite you? You know that's not sanitary.
And why not? She's only supping a few drops of my blood. And the pain, it's real for once.
She could decide to bite less willing patients.
And it's another good
That's true.
reason for me to stay here, Doctor.
You do realize she's mentally disturbed. It's called the Cotard syndrome.
Hey, you boy!
She
What's
truly
the
believes
food, you
she's
boy?
a vampire.
In her madness, she never refers
Exactly
to my
beyond
scars.
you. Yeah.
And frankly, if I could, I'd join her world. It seems much more fun than the real one.
Hi, Mrs. Salisto. How you doing? Kev, if you're still there, could you check to see if you've got any follower emotes that are free? Because you
You
should do
told
now.
me before you don't want your children to see you like this. Do you have any
Turkey
other
dinosaurs.
family?
My sister
I
Agatha
love your
has
dinners,
raised
your
me
boy.
nippers since
They make
their
me
mother
laugh.
died. Don't want them to look at me like this.
Oh, that sucks.
How could children despise their father injured in the war?
What do you think? They saw me once. Like
I'm doing good,
poor
Mrs.
angels
Salisto.
left the room crying. They keep on having nightmares every week, my sister
I'm
told
doing
me.
very good. I'm having a nice time
Your sister's not a
being a
child.
vampire. I've literally not long
I'm sure
been
she
playing.
has nothing but respect
20 minutes.
for a wounded
Lots
soldier.
of chat.
And you are her brother.
You don't know my sister Agatha. She may be young, but she's all discipline and morality.
Oh, God.
If she ever found out what really happened,
She doesn't have to know.
she's a sly one, my sister. One day she'll find out the truth and knock 7 bells out of me. Nah, I'm better off here.
Hold on. No. They're the subscriber ones. They're the subscriber ones, Kev. Only jokes. Pie roasties and a bit of veg, then smile, dinosaur nights are for nights I have no time. Oh, was it already prepared? Oh, cool.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
Okay. Ooh,
Fear and disgust on every street corner. The daily routine.
Good evening, Mr. Hampton.
ah.
How do you feel?
Dr. Reed, is it?
I'm just getting these out the way so I can go and do
I must
things.
apologise for my behaviour.
What do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory.
Because I
Fear
didn't
and
do this
exhaustion
the other
make me say
day,
awful
and it
things
does
to
need
you,
to be
I'm
done.
afraid.
You remain
But once I've done it,
perfectly
I've done
nice
it,
and
if you know what I mean.
polite. A little delirious, perhaps. But who wouldn't be after enduring an abduction?
Thank you, Doctor. That's a relief. Now all I need to do is rest and return to my flock.
Do you know Tom Watts, the bartender from the
They're on
Turtle?
Twitch. They're the
I
only
met
emotes
him
I see.
before I
Oh,
found
really?
you in the canning factory.
But you're a follower,
yes,
aren't you,
of course.
Kev?
Always the helping hand, good old Tom. Without men like him, corruption
So,
and despair would have wiped out
Maybe
the
it's
East
a new
End long
follower
ago.
thing. I don't know. Because I don't see them either, even though it tells me that they're ready.
People are still in despair.
How could it be otherwise? The authorities have left
It's
us
weird.
all to rot in this contagious nightmare.
I don't know. We'll have to see if any new
No
followers turn up.
drugs, no advice, nothing. It's a damn shame.
Yeah, follower, not subscriber. Yeah, the followers are. It should be free.
Who should I avoid
emotes
in
for
this
followers.
part of town, then? Any
Let's have a
particularly
look, hang on.
evil figures?
Not really. Most men and women are just doing their best. And it's not my habit to speak ill of people I know, Doctor.
Right, okay, what does it says? You're invited to check out the follower emotes beta. Follower emotes are a new tier of emotes that help you grow your community by giving more viewers more ways to join the conversation. You can add up to 5 emotes, which I've done. 5 emotes will become immediately available to anyone who follows your channel. Interesting. Yeah, so they should be there. I don't know. Yeah. Pass next question.
How did you end up in William Bishop's den?
I had received alarming news about his recent behaviour. I went to his place and he refused to let me go.
Oh. Don't hold your drink
How did you end
and
up
try
in
and press a
William
button at the
Bishop's
same
den?
time.
I had received alarming news about his recent behaviour. I went to
Hi,
his place
Growlrat.
and he
Of course it's a
refused to let
dark
me
game.
go.
It's Halloween, man.
Why did he abduct you?
William was an alcoholic. His addiction suddenly changed to blood. I don't know why.
This is why we have
Just like
chickens.
a patient I met here.
And
this
the rats
Miss
are back.
Hallcroft.
And we're reusing the wolves.
You dared to enter this awful place alone. You're a hero, Mr. Hampton. Or a fool.
I'm just a man trying to help his friends,
Ooh.
Dr. Reed. William Bishop was a conflicted soul, searching for light.
You think?
What is the general situation in the East End?
Hi, Soul
The
Boy.
situation
How you
has
doing,
always
dude?
been tough, with a lot of tensions between the gangs and the Dockers Trade Union.
Good evening, sir.
The Wet Boot Boys are very
Thank you for the
nervous
messages
since
the
they
other
lost
day.
their leader.
Who leads the gang now?
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife Edwina who runs the show, with the assistance of her minion, Booth Digby.
Clay Cox.
Has the
The
gang
one that
been
I've
threatening you?
bit a bit.
Ah, no. I've had this nickname for so long, you know, the sad saint of the East End. No one dares to bug a saint.
Grell's got his rats
Not
out.
even criminals.
Any more for any more?
How do you feel, Mr.
Oh,
Hampton?
God.
Medically speaking, I mean.
I feel exhausted. Beyond exhaustion, actually. William drank so much of my blood in his madness. I feel empty.
You're in good hands
God.
here. Dr. Swansea is well versed in blood transfusion, and I'm sure he'll take the best care of you.
Thank you, sir. I believe all I need is rest. And then I can go back to the people who need me.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Hampton? I can't
Put the
help
original
but notice
Ghostbusters
the
back
cross
on for
around
tonight.
your
Oh,
leg.
did you,
I
Kev?
manage a
Awesome.
night asylum for the poor and homeless of the docks. And I try to guide the lost and hesitant on the
Hence
right
the
path
sad
to
saint.
our Lord.
Are you a priest, Mr. Hampton? A deacon, maybe?
Not at all, Doctor. I'm just a man of faith willing to preach the good word.
Why didn't
Wow.
you use your cross against William Bishop? To repel him somehow?
That's a very strange question, Doctor. A cross is no magical token, if that's what you were trying to say. Not mine, anyway.
So he didn't.
Have you made
No.
friends since you arrived?
Not really. But I recognize Miss Harriet Jones. I knew her when she lived by the docks. That poor woman had such a miserable life.
You never came to see her here at Pembroke? Receiving visits when sick can be an important part of the healing process, you know. We're not just bodies.
You're preaching to the converted now, Doctor. To be truly honest, I thought she was dead. She left the docks many months ago.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton. We'll talk again
Okay.
later.
Plot. Lots of plot.
It's locked, all right.
It's locked, all right. Okay. So we've spoken to you. We've
Good
spoken
evening,
to
Nurse
you.
Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Pepper, I know you're very close to Milton Hooks.
Yes,
Oh,
Milton Hooks is my man. If you want to report me for that, just feel free, Doctor.
no.
I have no intention of reporting you, Nurse Hawkins. But are you aware
I wouldn't
of the
report you.
risks?
I'm too
The
nice a
rules say I
person.
won't be allowed to work as a nurse anymore. But here at the Pembroke, we break rules all the time.
Is he worth the
That's
risk?
true.
Hey, I'm no perfect woman, and Milton is not the finest bloke, but we do our best to get by. That's all any of us can hope for nowadays.
That's fair enough.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Okay.
Yes, Doctor?
Exactly how bad is the supply situation here at Pembroke?
It really depends. Dr. Swansea definitely works his society contacts for monies. But with the quarantine, well, we're in God's hands.
Oh, blimey. There's a statement.
Please, could you point me in the direction of the morgue again?
It's the large boarded-up building behind the hospital. You can't miss it.
The one that
The key
I know
gave you
where it
will
is
open
because
the
I've already
small back
fought
door
off
to
the
it.
things that were there.
Why then do you always work the nights? Don't you ever sleep?
At the Pembroke, we're always hands on deck.
Your dedication to the Pembroke does you credit, Nurse Crane, but when do you sleep?
We staff get our sleep when we can, Doctor. Nursing is a vocation, not the labor of a
Interesting.
journeyman.
Lack of sleep and the medical profession always ends in disaster. I've witnessed many a colleague
Interesting.
succumb to stimulants to fight exhaustion. Drugs were as deadly as bullets in the trenches.
London's trenches start here at Pembroke Hospital. We are on the front line, make no mistake.
She needs to wash her apron, really, doesn't she?
That's all for now, Nurse Crane, thank you.
He looks ill. What's that? Due to the influenza, the hospital can no longer take any patients. Okay. Apart from the patients that it has.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see. Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
All right.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Fiddick.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work and to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing before being hospitalized.
I'm a carpenter,
Interesting.
and a good one too. But that means I need both arms to feed my family, Dr. Reed.
That's fair.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed? I have the feeling you're very capable. And your colleagues seem to think so too.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility. My apologies. Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Aykroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there. Doctors are no different from carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
Interesting.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
I will not let you down, my boy.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reed? Yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly Aykroyd.
I'm
Welcome
Waverly
aboard.
Aykroyd.
Does my arrival
I
inconvenience you in some way, Dr. Aykroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swansea's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated dabblers.
Excuse me?
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Aykroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position. But I don't agree with it.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not
Yeah, of course
wasted
not.
my time courting the press.
You are going to change your tone with me, my dear colleague, and very quickly.
I don't think so. Perhaps you think yourself protected by Dr. Swansea, but I am still a free man, and I will speak to you the way I want.
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr. Swansea, but over time his enthusiasm has become displaced.
Carelessness? Exactly what are you talking about?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation. They're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
I agree.
Tell me, Waverly, what do you think of Dr. Strickland's enthusiasm for his experimental research?
Strickland is playing with his patients' lives for pride and glory. Now that, sir, is unethical.
Are you thinking about something in particular?
Harvey Fiddick needs delicate surgery. I believe we should stick to the usual procedure, but my young colleague obviously disagrees.
Interesting.
And are you not afraid that your rivalry with Strickland may be blinding you?
Rivalry? I guess you could call it that. But I will never be childish enough to let my personal feelings affect my judgment.
Why do you wish to lead this surgery?
I strongly believe that Mr. Fiddick should not be butchered to test an unproven procedure.
If you are going to lead this surgery, I'm trusting you to assume the consequences of your actions, whatever the result.
I'm not the kind of man who runs away from his responsibilities, Dr. Reed. There is no need for you to be looking over my shoulder.
Good. Then I won't have to bite you in the neck.
I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
This is ridiculous. My blood transfusion technique saved many lives, and you know it.
You see? That is exactly what I hate about people like you. You avoid this kind of accusation instead of facing reality.
It seems you have bad memories of your military service.
I refuse to see this
Interesting.
industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only
I think that's
reveals
fair.
the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd.
This guy is frustrating. Is all hell.
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
I'll bite you in the neck later, you bastard.
As for me, what a blundering idiot.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed. Can I help at all?
No,
Really? Why are you here then?
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts too much.
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here. Is someone taking care
I'm
of
trying to
Yes.
play some of these voices.
No.
Could you at least tell me your name, sir?
Mortimer.
You know?
Mortimer Goswick.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and his patient have to communicate, sir. Would it help if I gave you some paper and a pen?
Not really.
I see. Then maybe it's not just your throat that hurts, Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just the consequence of something more hurtful.
Yes, maybe. But I
Interesting.
don't want to talk or even write about it now.
Didn't I just ask that question?
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Goswick.
I don't want to talk, Doctor.
How painful
Did we
is your
just-
throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
He really doesn't want to talk to me, does he?
I'll let you get some rest then.
I'm all right. Don't waste your time with me.
Good evening, madam. Can I help you?
It's my son who needs you, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan
I've
Reed.
already spoken to him.
How can I help your son?
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer Goswick. Could you check
Oh,
on
are
me,
you?
please, Dr. Reed? I've heard much of your talents as a physician.
I've just spoken to him.
What can you tell me about yourself, Mrs. Goswick?
Not much to say. Just take care of my Mortimer and I'll cover all the expenses. That's all that matters.
Okay.
Are you really that rich? Most of the patients here are of a more humble origin, if I may say so.
Yes, thanks to my husband. May he rest in peace. I can cover any needed medical expenses.
Oh, good.
May I ask if you have an occupation, Mrs. Goswick?
I'm a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are more ambitious about their futures than their families.
Oh, really?
What do you think of your reception here? Any complaints?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital since we arrived. But we had no other choice, considering the state of emergency.
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming. I suspect they're not accustomed to dealing with patients of such social standing.
Really?
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital. What gave you such a bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
She charged you for a bed?
Yes, and I paid without question, considering the urgency of the situation.
Interesting.
I share your concern, Mrs. Goswick. Be sure that I'll talk to the people involved.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reed. but I'm aware such behavior would not be tolerated in other hospitals.
I agree.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Blundering idiot.
Okay. That's the night shift. Okay. That and that.
We may lack the resources, but we have some of the most brute.
Good evening, Dr. Strickland.
And good evening to you, Dr. Reed.
Ah, him
Can I
again.
be of any help?
Yeah, I know, Chalky. I totally agree.
What do you think of Dr. Ackroyd's aversion to modern medical methods?
It's a shame he's so narrow-minded. Dr. Swansea taught me that science is about exploring uncharted territory. I'm convinced that's true.
With the influenza and all that's going on, you should put your differences aside, don't you think? Why
agree.
is it so difficult to work together?
I believe that if Dr. Ackroyd had been the one to discover the transfusion process, he would be the first to recommend its use.
So you
Leave my
believe
mum
it's
alone,
just a
says Blue
question
Thunder. Was
of
that your
jealousy
mum?
and
Oh, God.
pride?
Dr. Ackroyd is as proud as
Your
he
mum
is
got a big
blinded
hat?
by his obsolete concept of medical science.
That's a big statement.
Tell me more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly. I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him.
What is it you really want?
How?
To save him? Or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reed. Especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story.
This personal involvement could also appear to be a lack of impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain neutral.
I agree. But that does not excuse Dr. Ackroyd's behavior. A man who did not even take time to converse with his patient.
Do you think keeping his distance was a mistake?
All I know is that I'm taking care of human beings with desires, hopes, and fears. Not some biological machine comprised
fair.
of blood, bones, and flesh.
Tell me Mr. Fiddick's story.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury. He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father, ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
Ah.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
We have a hint. I want to know what that is. No, not you. We must pursue the hint. Well, hang on. Stuff to grab in here. Thank you very much. Oh, dear God. I don't know what I picked
Good evening,
up.
Mr. Fiddick.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Any news about my operation?
No.
Tell me about your injury, Harvey. Why do you feel so guilty about it?
My wife died because of me. And now I may lose everything because I've been careless enough to hurt myself. What an arsehole.
How could your job be responsible for your wife's death?
I was working a double. She went out to bring me a hot meal and got caught in a German bomb raid.
You can't hold yourself responsible for your injury, Mr. Fiddick. Unless you tried to hurt yourself.
Of course I didn't hurt myself. But I can't work until my arm is fixed. My children need to eat, Doctor.
Okay.
Tell me more about the death of your wife, Harvey.
1915. I was in the army. Building workshops for the Royal Flying Corps. Helen was happy I wasn't sent to the front.
What happened?
The Germans sent Zeppelins to bomb the construction site, but they missed their target. My wife was bringing my dinner when the bombs fell.
Oh.
I'm sorry for your loss. So many died during the bombings. I served in France and witnessed the carnage there.
I would like to say that she didn't suffer. Truth is, I have no idea. I just know that I'm all that me kids have. Poor little bleeders.
How are your children after losing their mother?
They were smaller then.
That is terrible.
The only good thing about
Solicitor,
this is my Helen didn't bring them with her that night.
Yeah.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
Reads me like a book.
Falling apart.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Any more for any more?
Miss Howcroft. How are you tonight?
I need blood, Doctor.
Something the British didn't learn till the last few raids. What? Shooting a Zeppelin down just makes the situation worse for yourself because you just make a giant firebomb. That's true.
Tell me, Thelma, why do you feel so attached to Mr. Elwood? Why him?
I'm not sure, Doctor. I think we have a bond of some sort. We've both suffered so much. He's the only mortal I find interesting.
Do you plan to make him a vampire too?
Of course not. How could I inflict my curse on anybody else? I'm not that cruel, Doctor.
Would you say you and Mr. Elwood are romantically involved?
No. No, Thomas is a delicate soul. Even though he disguises it. But I am not the woman he needs. No, for I am a vampire, Doctor.
Okay. Okay, vampire lady.
Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal.
I love that. I leave you, Mistress of the Dark. I think that's how I should refer to Chucky. Henceforth, every time I leave the stream, I shall now leave you, Mistress of the Dark. I think she'd probably quite like that. Wouldn't you, Chucks? Where's the, it's over here. Okay. I was just remembering what the buttons did, so...
It's locked.
Oh, please do. I will do, Chucks. Don't you worry. I've got the key. Don't I? Interesting. Yeah, that kind of sums her up, really. Yeah. For I am the only vampire around, and my Stalingrad is the... Is anybody going to get these black ships, by the way? You know, the Massachusetts black, the terrible black. I'm trying to work out what that is. Whatever it is, I think I killed it. Wrong button. Not spending potentially tons and tons of Massachusetts when I just get the mints. Yeah. Well, you get the two, don't you? You get the mints and the other one. You get them both on the campaign. You don't have to mix. They confirmed it, didn't they? So on the campaign, you actually get two premiums, not just one, which is kind of cool. Oh, yeah. There appears to be blood on the ceiling. Vampire 2! Ah, yes. I'll just check to see if there's anything to pick up. Must do looting. Must do looting. Oh, is that where I came in? Yes, it is. Oh no, hang on. I think there's going to be a loading screen if I go there. So, wait a minute. I've got 3 of those yellow things on my night shift. Oh, okay. No, this is where I came in. I got some money, I think. Nom nom nom.
Behavior is similar to the infected William Bishop. Must be the same strain. This sickness moves faster than influenza.
It's the terrible and I think it's a cruiser. I can't remember which one. Why do I think it's the Attigo? I might be wrong.
This key will surely grant me access to the basement.
Oh, the Exeter. The Exeter is one that I'm quite tempted by, I've got to be honest. Get him! I donked it. Attigo was last year. Yeah, with the Exeter you can just buy, can't you?
I cannot enter.
It's rather tempting to get the Exeter, gotta be honest.
Balls of Mars. Fortifiers. As popular as they are ineffective. But they do contain iron tartrate, and that might prove itself useful.
Okay. Interesting. Is the original COVID? Yeah, quite possibly. No? Interesting. Well, Massachusetts is already drip. Oh. Oh, is it? Why do I get the feeling that going downstairs is going to be a bad idea? This game was set in the period of the past pandemic with Spanish flu. It was, Kev. Exactly. End of the First World War.
These skulls feed from corpses and the husks of animals. They're not after blood.
There was another one. So you don't really need master beat. Yeah, I don't need it. I definitely don't need it. Oh, what's that on the wall? Oh, it's him in there. Okay. Let's just clear the room of stuff to pick up, just in case. Yeah, the Exeter's a good tier 5 cruiser. I've heard good things about it. But, I haven't got it. Get him! Oh, I didn't search him. Search him. Plus, brawling is dead. Stop poking it. Stick with war. Oh, really? Yeah. Hang on. Plus, brawling is dead. Is dead. Stop poking it with a stick. Wargaming. Okay, I understand now. Sorry, there was I misunderstood. The punctuation or the lack of punctuation confused me. Yeah, I understand that. I can see that, but is it really something you need? Probably not. But there's a lot of completionists out there, so
it's locked, all right.
Well, I better go and kill that dude over there then. Anything in here? The camera kind of went a bit catty wampus then. That was weird. Oh yeah, Wells will 100% get all of them no matter how much it costs. That's very true. No, I just... I like the graph speed, but it's... It isn't for everybody, but it's good fun. I enjoy it.
It's
Can I
locked.
open this yet?
It's locked, all right.
Can I hit it with an axe? No. God damn it. I am a shadow. No, no, no. How many of them are there? I'm really confused. Trying to stay alive here. I need the blood. Fight him. I know I should be watching chat, but... Get him. Killed
so
him.
Ferocious. I'm not sure I can defeat them without becoming stronger.
There are the new British Terriers, that's very true.
Is so tempting.
Correct, Mistress of the Dark. Let's just check to see if there's...
Sodium hypochlorite. Dangerous to administer, but efficient in the proper dosage.
Cool. I found that fight quite difficult. Why can't I get up there? Oh, that's unsporting. Excuse me, game. 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 I didn't die, though. That's encouraging. If I get killed by one of them now, that'd be hilarious. I'm trying to stun him to get more blood. There we go. And I'm cured. Yay! Sodium fuck. What? Sodium hypochloride. Have you never done chemistry? Where did I just come from? Oh. Sodium hypochloride. It's crazy camera. Crazy camera. Camera went mad then. I threw a book at my chemistry teacher. Did you? Why? Because he looked at me funny. Okay, fair enough. Damn it, Blay, it's been too long since I've done chemistry. I used to love chemistry. Chemistry lets you blow stuff up. I think for that, it's fantastic. Chemistry's great for that. I might have a quick cigarette, actually, thinking about it. Ooh. Actually, let's go and hand this, let's go and hand this mission in. And then we'll, and then we'll have a cigarette. Keyboard went wonky at the end. Well, no, my friend said he looked at my ass, so I threw a book. I mean, to be fair, without being rude, if you've got a nice ass, a bloke is a bloke. However, if he's a dirty old man and you're a youngster, that's deeply wrong and shouldn't be allowed. And yes. So I threw a book. I don't know if he did or didn't. I just assumed he did. Were you checking out my ass? Unfortunately, the health and safety got their hooks into chemistry and we didn't do any fun experiments. Really? Now, when I was younger, which was a long time ago, I had a physics and a chemistry teacher when I was at prep school. I know, I'm a posh boy. Yeah, generally was just blowing stuff up, putting sodium in water and lighting magnesium on fire and making things turn purple and bubble up and do all those kind of fun things. Keyboard went wonky at the end. Blake, you were never young, you were just born old. No. I was definitely young once. In fact, there's a picture of me on the wall looking young. I had an article written about me in the Times when I was at boarding school. True story. In fact, I'll tell you when it was, because it's here on my wall. It was... No, it wasn't the Times, it was the Independent on Sunday. The 6th of October, 1991. No lies and slander. Genuinely. I was, at that point, I'd just gone 15, literally 2 days before. 6th of October, 91. And I was a very well-behaved young man-ish. I was just learning to not behave myself. Which is kind of what I did when I went 15. I suddenly realised, girls and things and other stuff and girls. Mostly girls. You're not old then. Well, I'm 45. Blue Thunder. Did you say... No, not hypochlorite. Hypochloride with a D. Hypochlorite is something else. Bleach does contain sodium hypochlorite. It's caustic. It removes, like, stuff. My kids think I'm old, Blue Thunder. My eldest is only 2 years younger than I was in that photo. Which just goes to show how old I am. To be fair, if you haven't done the dirty at 15, there's something wrong. That's not true. I don't agree with that at all. Have I literally just lost 2 followers while I was talking? Yes, I did. I don't agree with that. I think if you're 15, the worst thing that can happen is you get pressured into doing it. Be you a boy or a girl. Or anything in between. Nothing worse than regret. You're in reception then, Kev. Yeah, well, you're literally 9 years younger than me. Good for you, Chocky. I've had sex twice in my life, and both times I ended up with children. I'm not doing it again. Oh, cider was just a... Yes, that was just a way of life when I was 15, 16. Cider. It really was. Well, yeah, of course, Mrs. Salisto. When I was 15, all the 15-year-old girls wanted the 17-year, 18-year-old boys. It's just the way it is. Because girls generally at 15 are 2 or 3 years older, emotional, well, maybe not emotionally, but biologically and mentally than the boys are. And to be fair, once boys get to 16, 17, their brain stops growing, and that's it. They're kind of stuck there for life. We just learn to manage the impulses better the older we get. When I was 15, I wouldn't have known what to do with a woman. White listening. What? Yeah. Don't worry about it, Marlon. There is no right time. It was very much a peer pressure thing, as far as I could tell. And if it wasn't, then good for you. But it was weird. It's weird how groups of boys and girls work at that age. Oh, white lightning. White lightning, yes. White listening, no idea what that is. Lightning. White lightning. I can't touch cider anymore, Blue Thunder. I drank so much of it when I was 15, 16, 17, 18 that I just can't touch it anymore. The smell of it makes me retch. It was scrumpy and... oh, just... ugh. TNT. White lightning was horrible. Marlon's multitasking. Are you really? What are you doing? You're having a dump at the same time. You're doing a yak. Your first drink was Stella. Oh God. I couldn't tell you what my first drink was. No idea. Hey! Oh! Right. You're watching 2 streams at the same time. Are you now? Where the fucking hell am I? Strongbow. Ugh. No, natural ice, cheap and terrible beer, yes. Oh, look, a bin. What's in the bin? Oh, the music's back. Oh, hang on, I need to see her, don't I? Where'd she go? Hello, says here in Brum, things are so... okay. That looks like a hint. Yep. Zima. Oh, what's that, Marlon? My first drink was out of Dad's pint glass, remember?
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Oh, the wrong one.
Pepper, are you sure you want to leave this hospital?
To become a nurse was a little girl's dream. But in the end, I don't feel that useful. I want more. I want to make things change.
You should be proud of what you've achieved. This hospital represents hope for many people in need of help.
Maybe you're right. But at the moment, I feel like we're just a cemetery waiting room.
Oh, God. It's from the stream. He's also watching... oh, you got gifted a sub. Oh, awesome. Oh, cool. Nice.
What steps are you prepared to take to feel more useful?
I don't know yet. My sister believes that the real fight is in the streets nowadays. Maybe she's right.
Okay. Is this a women's
Maybe
rights thing?
this is what I must do.
It's not a bad thing.
And what about Milton Hooks? Does he share your point of view?
For Milton, any change means more comfort and more peace. I disagree.
If you feel that saving lives is not useful enough, perhaps it means that you've lost faith.
On the contrary, my faith has never been stronger. Maybe we are all just too proud to face up to the fact that science cannot compete with God.
Wow, that's a statement.
Milton cheats patients out of their money at this hospital, Pippa. Are you his accomplice?
Yes, I am.
Is this your definition of being useful? By abusing the sick and poor?
No. It is my definition of getting out of this useless life once and for all.
Wow.
Why do you do it?
Why not? Most of the sick who paid for a bed are already dead, or will be soon. Don't
Bloody
you
hell.
see the futility of all this?
In your position, I would suggest a more elaborate defense. Cynicism will not save you.
This isn't cynicism, it's realism. You still need me, Dr. Reed, and you know it.
Whose idea was it?
What difference does it make? We did it together, and I'm guilty as charged.
Answer my question.
It was my idea first, even though Milton would say it was his, to protect me.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Okay, where's the other... No. No. Where's... Is she out the front? No. Oh, who are you? What you doing it?
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Why does Dr. Tippett's claim you're the main reason he keeps
Interesting.
working, despite his fatigue?
If it wasn't for him, I probably would have left the Pembroke years ago.
Dr. Tippett does not think of you as just a nurse anymore, does he?
If you're suggesting he's not taking my gender into consideration when it comes to medical practice and knowledge, I really hope he doesn't.
Okay.
Goodbye, nurse.
Okay.
Call me if you need assistance.
Okay.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
Doing my best.
Admit it. Nurse Hawkins is more than your lover. She's also
Ooh.
your partner in crime.
Of course she is. How else could I tell which bed is free? I need to know that.
Have you no shame?
Don't you see this city is crumbling down? Today, people are ready to pay to get a hospital bed. Tomorrow, we may be fighting for food.
Tell me why you're extorting money from some of the patients here.
If a patient wants a bed, he'll have to pay me a little fee. That's all.
Where did you get the idea for such an immoral scam?
Funny you should ask. The first time it was from a patient who bribed me to get a bed. It's only then I realized I could make a fortune.
Do you know that Nurse Hawkins is thinking of leaving the hospital?
That's not a surprise. We've talked about it already.
Does it not bother you?
Sometimes I think she may be right. We should run away while we can. Question is, where can we go? Where is it safe?
Who knows?
Goodbye, Milton.
Where's the other one? What's he doing over there?
Good evening,
She
Dr.
moved quickly, didn't she?
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
No, not really.
Goodbye, Dr.
No.
Tippett.
Who's that? There's an unknown over there. Why can't I talk to you? I want to talk to him. Where's he's up there. No. 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 Maybe she's upstairs. Where is she? Where is she? Oh, maybe I have to make them first. That would make sense. Ah. Light blood serum. Light. Was that what it regenerates 60 blood points instantly?
The flower's dying. It needs water.
Oh, why can't I get water? Okay, what do I need to do? Wait, what do I need to make? Alright, we did that. We need to do that as well. Where is she? What do I need to do for her? I need to do something for her. Where's the mission? What am I doing wrong? Craft the treatment for fatigue. Okay, it's literally right there in front of me. What do I not have? Okay. That took me ages. Ah, Marlon's found the evil chicken. How did you find the evil chicken and other people couldn't? And I can't see it either. I'm really confused. I don't understand that. How did you find the evil chicken, mate?
Finally, you've returned, Doctor. Did you find anything of value?
Yes, nurse.
You've worked your first miracle, Doctor. Now, this patient here needs immediate treatment.
There's the emotes.
Duty calls. When the storm has passed, I'll show you how to mix the remedy yourself with the same basic ingredients.
Many thanks, Doctor. When you've finished, you ought to report to Dr. Swansea in his office. He's been looking for you. Seemed pressing.
Oh, okay.
In circumstances, I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
Do you need any help?
I'm afraid I may, sir.
Oh, right bumper. Okay, cool.
You are not a burden, sir. Healing you is my responsibility.
And you have my gratitude
There we go.
for that.
I'm nice and like that, you see.
Why did your mother have you hospitalized here? She seems convinced this is a bad hospital.
My mother just wants the best for me. She won't rest while I'm here. She'd go all the way to hell and back to help me.
Pembroke Hospital may look unorthodox, but rest assured you're in good hands here.
It's not me you have to convince,
You are.
Dr. Reed. It's my mother.
Is your mother bothering you? As your doctor, I can ask her to leave you alone if you would prefer.
That's tempting, Doctor. But you have no idea what my mother is capable of. She would tie herself to my bed if you asked her to leave.
No, we don't want that.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
I'm all right. Don't waste waste your time with me.
Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
I've got nothing to say to you.
Come now, we can handle this.
Remember, Citizen's Blood will provide you a massive XP boost. Look for Citizen's Mesmerized level or below and choose wisely. Alex, yeah, 4, 2. She's a 2. He's a 1, but I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to chew on them. This is plot points. This is important. Here we go.
Please, Jonathan, come in.
Alas, poor Yorick, I knew him well.
Fascinating, is it not? In the last decade, so many mysteries have been brought to light with our microscopes. The human body, biology's penultimate frontier.
Right.
The more we explore its boundaries, the less we're able to trace a clear line between life and death. You, my friend, have a foot in both countries. The view must be vertiginous.
It's at least as vertiginous as chatting about
Oh my
vampires
word.
with you, I would say.
This must be also new to you. This area of town, the hospital, a brand new life. How stimulating it must be.
What a word.
I wish I could
vertiginous.
share your enthusiasm, Dr. Swansea. But my condition defies scientific categorization. Undead? Unalive? Immortality defies logic.
I cannot express my
perhaps.
thrill at this serendipitous turn of events.
He's
The
using
world's
another
most
big
eminent
word.
specialist in blood transfusions, a vampire. One might say a gift from heaven.
I don't agree with that.
I'm a dead man. I was murdered. Now I'm a murderer. Tell me how this is a gift.
Forgive me. I've been an admirer of your work for a long time, and now you are so much more than a brilliant physician. And please, call me Edgar.
There is no need to apologize, Edgar. You offered me sanctuary when I had none.
Very well. I have a task for you, Jonathan. Something that will require all your newfound skills.
Please, go on.
Okay.
The Pembroke only survives through the generosity of our benefactors. Unfortunately, our main donor has found herself in a bit of a bind. Now, if you could help her out...
A spokesman or politician is what you need. That's not my calling. And until I come to understand what has happened to me, I require discretion.
Discretion is in order, Jonathan. Lady Ashbury has recently received rather indelicate correspondence that, if revealed, would jeopardize her position.
And you would like me to eradicate this threat?
By the stole, of course not. I would just like you to pay her a visit. Her ladyship is certainly near the tents outside, tending the sick. You can't miss her. Look for someone impossibly delicate.
Accepted. I'll see what kind of trouble Lady Ashbury is in.
What can we steal from his office? Oh, hello. Dear Dr. Swansea, glad to manage a temporary morgue. Former doctor. Okay. Hang on, are there any of these that I haven't read?
So, Mr. Hooks and Nurse Hawkins are an item. Those two have hidden their affections well.
Well, they haven't, because I've been talking to them about it for ages. A warning letter. Dr. Wait, I must inform you of my deep reservations concerning Dr. Tom Thoreau Strickland and Harvey Fiddick's case. Mr. Fiddick has been hospitalised after severe work injury. He may permanently lose the use of his arm. Doctor claims a surgical procedure may save his life. The man I'm already severe in its functioning. Say it may also sever its functions for good if complications arise. Our young colleague is an audacious and daring surgeon. He might prove a great professional in a few years, but for now he lacks the skills to perform such a risky procedure. Need I remind you of the interesting. You found the tweet about follower emotes? Oh, what you did? Oh. Yes. Rare species of vampires. I would never insistent about the importance of taking legends and ancient folklores. We must consider the possibility of undiscovered species of vampires and the necessity to rethink what we see as the established truth about the various types of immortals, based on what we know and what we gathered through time. For how many centuries did we consider that vampire was the vernacular term for what we had learned to call Ekon? Until the day 4 explorers of the Brotherhood found proof in Siberia that Volkods were a lupin type of vampire, we considered these creatures to be linked to the mythological werewolf. Now we know it's not true. What about the rest? What about the Rakshasa from my homeland? What about the... There's loads of them. Ooh. Different types of vampire. Fascinating. Anyway, come on. How we go? And should we go and level up? Yeah, let's go and level up. I'll talk to the hospital benefactor after I've leveled up. What's that? Blood spear. Bite. Tactical. Spring. You perform a supernatural move. Fade in the shadows. Moving in this state will drain. Defensive. You will block your target's blood in their veins, making them defenseless. You create a visual barrier. There we go. No. I still have 200 XP. Which isn't enough. God damn it. There we go. The following night. Game crash. Sorry about that. The game crashed. That sucks. Oh. That was weird. Ubisoft Paris have finally listened to the player base and given us what we want. What's that, Kev? Is this a Assassin's Creed thing? Oh, for Ghost Recon Breakpoint. What, the actual game, you mean? The one that they should have done to start with. Yeah. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is in a good place. Yeah, I've never been into the Assassin's Creed side of things. I like Ghost Recon. I really liked Future Soldier when it came out, and Wildlands was great. Breakpoint, I enjoyed once they changed it. I'll be interested to see how this changes it. I never quite understood the PvP side of Breakpoint, gotta be honest. Okay, so it did save. Let's see if we can upgrade anything. What do we need? Increased blood absorption, increased stun. Okay. Upgrade that. Yes, we can. Increase stun. Enhance hand. Decrease stamina consumption by 10%. Actually, let's do that. Good resale value. Recycle for components. Make any of these? No. No. Sodium hypochlorite is the fundamental. Gonna call it a night. No, Blue. You take care, dude. I'm not gonna be too long behind you, to be honest. Changes Ghost Recon completely to put it back to more like Ghost. Well, yeah, I'm quite looking forward to that side of it.
Him in New York once.
If only there were more of us, less resignation and more determination.
I know I can count. The flu took
Oh, it's
my
the
dear
pretty
wife,
lady.
Emily. I take comfort knowing we'll soon be together again.
Mr. Rainfield, that's no way to talk. You're in good hands here, and we'll be up again soon enough.
I don't think he will.
Now do me a kindness and get some sleep. I'll be back round later.
Your words are kind, the blessings of an angel. You're the sweet, sweet Lady of Mercy.
Good evening,
Surprisingly
Dr. Reed.
evil.
It's a pleasure to see you again.
Oh, she looks happy now.
You
But she
seem
looked evil then.
surprised. Dr. Swansea has brought me up to speed concerning your recent appointment to Pembroke Hospital.
Ooh.
You're a the lady who saved me that night, before vanishing into thin air. I remember you from the pub with Dr. Swansea.
Indeed. Allow me to introduce myself formally this time. My name is Lady Ashbury. I remember you well, in spite of the brevity of our encounter.
Swansea fancies
Apologies.
vampires.
You've taken me by surprise. I'm very happy to see you.
The pleasure is mine, Doctor.
I hope you're more disposed to answer my questions now.
You must have countless questions, but our rather urgent matter first. Swansea has explained. My cover, if you prefer, has been compromised.
Pardon my boldness, Your Ladyship, but I have questions concerning this condition we share.
As a newborn, your hunger for answers is rivaled only by your thirst for blood. But the questions need wait.
I'm a scientist. My trade is in the deciphering of mysteries, and I need information to feed my mind.
I will gladly answer every question you have, but first, prove yourself capable of resolving my predicament without eating the culprit.
Eating?
Have any of the patients given you trouble?
These poor souls have so little left to live for. I do my best to ease their pain.
The world would be a better place if it were cared for by women like you.
You make me blush. I am simply a necessary evil.
Dr. Swansea has commissioned me to be your agent in this matter. You could start by explaining what's amiss.
These past insufferable weeks, I've been the victim of extortion. I've made a first payment, but the blackmailer grows greedy. I must refuse his most recent demands.
If we're dealing with an ordinary criminal, surely you've the means to deal with it yourself, if I may.
As immortal tradition doth dictate, all fangs and hypnotic eyes ablaze, the blood would run like a river. That's what I hope to avoid. Violence has a tendency to spiral out of control.
What are your expectations? Please be precise.
As the newly appointed surgeon of this hospital, you are in an excellent position to ask innocent questions and deftly learn the identity of my blackmailer.
Who would be so foolish as to threaten you? A kindred spirit.
Even if it were the case, and I highly doubt it, a vampire would have asked for something more valuable than money. My suspicions lean toward a patient or their family.
Please continue. Every detail is essential. I'm your man.
Interesting.
My embarrassment in this matter is eclipsed only by my shame at having put the hospital at risk. The threat from our anonymous scoundrel is clear. A list of dates. My visits coinciding with the dates of suspicious patient deaths due to massive blood loss.
Is it true?
Now aren't you the blunt one?
Well, yes.
We both are afflicted with a thirst for blood, Lady Ashbury. That is our nature. By vocation, we also have reason to visit the hospital. Logic dictates.
In all honesty, I'm not simply a patron to the hospital. My visits serve a dual purpose. Dr. Swansea has been treating my condition with a revolutionary technique of blood transfusion. It seems you are a specialist in the domain.
I'll take care of it. Do you know where I should start?
If that was the case, I'd settle the matter myself. You could talk to our local gossip, Harriet Jones. Not a pin drops here without her hearing about it.
I'll meet that woman now.
My life,
Okay.
as others know, is in your hands, Dr. Reed. I'm sure of your discretion, but
She
I
has
do
green
fear
eyes.
your powers of persuasion will be put to the test. When this is resolved, I'll be your obligé. I'll answer all questions in regards of your condition.
Obligé, there's a good word. Oh, it's that bloody orchestra again.
I wonder why the Goswicks came here in the first place.
Damn. The pain. Simpletons, these nurses. Bred with no respect. What? What? What is this? Who are you? Get out of my room.
There's no need for alarm, madam. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon.
Preposterous. Dr. Reed, you say? I don't want some bumbling intern. Where's Dr. Swansea?
Please, calm down, madam. I assure you that I am highly qualified. I'm just back from war duty.
How brave. Threatening an old defenseless woman. You know how long I've been a patient here? You've picked the wrong fight. I'm Harriet Jones.
Harriet Jones? Indeed. I've been meaning to have a chat with you. You know what goes on here better than any other patient, I gather.
Oh, better than any patient, nurse or doctor. I've seen so many vile undertakings.
I heard there have been some despicable goings-on. Was there a case of blackmail?
Blackmail? Wait. You're investigating something. This isn't a social call. One of those incompetent cunts slit a poor sod's vein.
If I didn't know better, Miss Jones, I'd be inclined to say you enjoy this type of idle gossip.
God's honest truth, Doctor. It's just the way it is here. Most of these bitches would let you freeze to death before getting you a blanket.
You seem to know more about the goings-on here than anyone else. Beware, Miss Jones, in case suspicion should fall on you.
That's it. Blame the old and infirm. I see those little bitches' greedy little eyes. Just waiting for me to pop off they are.
I assure you, madam, this is not an investigation into a possible medical error.
Debauchery, then? Nurses Crane, Hawkins, Brannigans, whores, all of them. They can't keep their legs shut. I've seen them scratching slutty sores.
Really? Well, if you have irrefutable proof, I'll not have the staff behaving in such a manner here.
This is your business, Doctor, not mine. But I swear one of the nurses is cavorting with some man on hospital hours.
Thank you for your time, Miss Jones. You've given me something to go on.
We know this one already.
See you on the next round.
Doris Fletcher.
Miss
Any more
Jones,
for any more?
greetings. How do we feel?
Again? Waking a poor old woman in her sleep? There isn't a poor life
I
needs
literally
saving
just
somewhere?
ran from one side of your bed to the other.
Now, I need to ask you a few simple questions.
Well, if you really must.
Have you noticed any suspicious comings or goings?
It would be a great deal easier to make a list of things unsuspicious in this house of charlatans.
Come now, Miss Jones. Surely it's not that bad.
Have you no eyes? This hospital accepts all manner of souls, regardless of origin. The proper sick cannot heal. We're kept sickened by the refugees.
Everyone here is very capable. I have not seen any instances of unprofessionalism.
Thieves and murderers, the lot. People have gone missing here, you know. Poof, without a trace.
If you could just tell me why you were admitted.
It's terrible, Doctor. What with a pain in my chest, coughing up blood, and I get awfully tired. Wouldn't be so bad if I hadn't lost my house and all.
I see.
No one comes to visit, you know. Not even my own flesh and blood.
Oh, God.
I'll come and visit you shortly. Good night, Miss Jones. The patients and staff might know something. I'll start my investigation with them. Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Good evening.
What can you tell me about the strange man visiting one of the nurses during her shift?
Let me guess. You spoke with that old shrew, Harriet Jones.
So I
Do
found
not
out all
pay
the
attention
answers to
to
this
her,
before
Doctor.
I'm doing the attention.
She's full of fanciful tales.
No matter how you feel about her, Miss Jones deserves our help.
Who says I don't care for her? Hate is what keeps that old crone alive.
She could have been telling the truth about the mysterious man.
That old witch will end up in hell soon enough. Who cares if a nurse finds some happiness where she can?
Okay.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Who am I? Nurse Gwyneth Dewberry, what's it? No. 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 There? No, not you. Where is it?
Good evening, Nurse
Is it this
Brennan.
one that I
Good
did?
evening, Doctor.
Have you seen a strange man visiting any of the nurses here?
I've never heard of such a thing, Doctor.
I've never heard of such a thing.
Do you know if any of the hospital staff have criminal backgrounds?
The people who work here all come from very different backgrounds, Doctor. Just like the patients.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Where's Dorothy Crane? Where is she? Where is she? Is she out there? No, but I do need
Thelma
to talk to him about
Howcroft
something
said she
else.
was being watched by vampire hunters. Where are they hiding? I should investigate.
I understand you must be very angry about this unfair situation. I managed to arrange
It's
to
locked,
have
all
you
right.
in the same mass grave as your wife. I hope that might help.
I have to find the, where is she? Is it that one? No. Where is she? Is she upstairs? Did I just hear a sheep? That was weird. Where is she? Maybe she's upstairs. Oh, there's a bloody... Follow the big Y on the screen, Tom. You know, the big... The one pointing towards where you need to go. Dingbat.
So many times. Oswald, you can't just die like this.
Please, sir. I need help bad.
What's going on?
I'm Blight, sir. Newton Blight. I've lost my mate. Can't find him anywhere.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed from the Pembroke Hospital. Please, calm down and give me more details.
Oswald and myself were both infantry, sir. We were en route for the hospital, but... well, we had a disagreement. And Oswald ran off towards the canal.
How long have you been searching for him?
I can't go there. Too many rats by the water. Fucking rats. Can't stand them since the war, sir. Can't stand them at all.
Don't be ashamed, Mr. Blight. Many soldiers who survived the trenches suffer from musophobia. I'll see what I can do for your friend. This is a dangerous part of town. What are you doing here?
We were looking for the Pembroke Hospital. We both need help. Treatment, I mean. To get some sleep. Just need to feel better, sir.
Okay.
What can you tell me about yourself?
I'm Oswald's best friend. We served in the same regiment, sir. We've taken care of each other since we came back from the front.
What can you tell me about your friend?
His name is Oswald Thatcher. We survived the war together. Oswald is... nervous and quite fragile since we came back from the war.
Where was your friend the last time you saw him?
He went down by the canal. He didn't want to go to the hospital. I think he went to the sewers on purpose. So I couldn't go after him.
I have all the information I need for now. If I find anything out about your friend, I'll let you know as soon as I can.
Thank you, Dr. Reed.
You're sure you don't come back with me?
Nah, I have to see someone at the hospital.
Be careful. You look so bad they may keep you as a patient.
Fuck 'em. I don't like hospitals. Or doctors.
Well then, when you go back to Whitechapel, you may find this useful.
What is it?
A pass for a free medical exam by the best nurse available. Just read it.
I don't read well, but thank you, I guess.
Interesting. Well, that worked quite well, didn't it? Ooh.
I cannot enter.
Ooh, more stuff. A large knife.
This is an impressive knife. There's a name engraved on the metal. Clay. What kind of man puts his name on a knife?
That was an investigation failed. That was the guy that I killed. Yeah, that was the guy that I killed. Wonder if I can buy sodium hydrochloride, whatever it is, from them. Oh look, Marlon's having a go with the emotes again. How you doing, dude? I think I'm going to go and get in a fight now. Here we go. Oh, hello. What's going on?
Feel the fresh air.
Sounds like somebody's in trouble. You got to go to bed. You're still multitasking, are you? Ah, yes, well. Oh, potassium permanganate, there's another one.
This man has been savagely attacked and dragged to the floor.
I can't breathe.
That is true.
Breathe.
Whoa! God damn it. Kill him. Kill him. What did I just pick up? Oh yeah, finishing a bottle of whiskey. Oh good lord, really? What, a whole bottle? Bloody hell. Oh, this was a mistake. I didn't mean to do that. Ow! Bastard. Did I miss anything? Oh, I just didn't appear like that. What's up here? Citizen to save. Where? Wasn't there a normal person there a minute ago? Am I going mad? Yeah, there is. Oh, get off! Oh, I can't see! That's better. No, I've been drinking this one. Oh, you've been drinking that for at least a week. Oh, so it's not that bad.
Are you injured, sir?
Help me get out of here. I need to get out.
I'm Dr. Reed, and I'd be glad to help you, but you must calm down first. Please, take a deep breath and tell me your name.
Okay, I'm Oswald Thatcher. Please, I need to get out.
Mr. Thatcher, your friend Newton sent me to help you. Do you remember him?
Yes, I do.
Good. Now leave this place and enjoy the cool night air. It's quite invigorating. I'm sure you'll feel better if you do.
Where am I going? A rat in the... Retrieve the what in the... The thing in the sewers. Oh, it's a rat. Oh, ho, ho, ho. He doesn't look well. Beware. Beware of what? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
What sort of creature is this?
Phone fell. Shit. Oh god. Which whiskey is it? Oh, whiskey I've drunk. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Oh wow! Caught me. my word, I got it. Night, night, Marlon. Hello, Mrs. It's not a werewolf, but it is related to...
Here's what's left of him. Not a lot to check.
It is
but
it
I
is
should
related
anyway.
to vampires. Slightly different story process. If you were sick, you have no money, whoever you are, wherever you're from, come see Dorothea to get help. No tricks, no changes, no questions asked. Just find Darius Petrescu's house and present this coupon.
Some voucher for a free checkup in Whitechapel. What is Nurse Crane up to? I really must find her.
Where's my stuff? No. No. Yeah, no. See that one? Oh, bad sleep. Becky threw up the meal a few hours after she ate. She's so frail now it makes me cry. Oh, that's one of the first ones. Interesting. Well, it's just a slightly different thing, but there's like Volcons, which are like those types of things, which are basically, they look like werewolves, but they're not. But the lore all gets explained. It's quite clever, really.
I have
Oh, I'm eating a rat.
thirst for blood.
Oh, hello. The Ban of the Dragon. Concerning the Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole, advise our members to be very wary about these so-called scholars. From the Lore of Ascalon by Lord Redgrave, the founder. Interesting. Okay, should we get as one shepherd said to the other, should we get the flock out of here? Night, night, Marlon. Love you dearly, dude. Right. That's where I went in. Let's see what's in here. I've got some XP, this is good. Make like a tree and leave. Hey, hey! Very good.
No time for self-pity.
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Let's just check up on her. No.
Goodbye, Nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Tell you what, the one thing This game, some of its camera angles are genuinely broken.
Good evening, Dr. Tibbets.
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
No, not really.
Goodbye, Dr. Tibbets.
Cool, that shrug that he gave was absolutely outrageous.
Good evening, Doctor.
Anything
Good evening,
interesting?
Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
Yes, sir.
Goodbye, Milton.
That was fast.
I'm afraid the trail of breadcrumbs leads beyond the hospital premises. I must leave for a time.
Is that so? Why?
Now it's time for you to be patient. It would seem that your blackmailer is part of a more complex machination whose root is in Whitechapel.
Machination? Do you suspect another immortal is
Machination,
involved?
big word.
I have no idea, but I'm certain to know more when I return from Whitechapel.
Do be careful, my good doctor. When immortals are involved, the stakes tend to escalate quickly.
I'll return with
Ah,
case
she used the word stake.
or carried on my shield.
Oh, very good. I want to go and see the morgue dude, wherever he may be. Just before I go. Oh, what are they? Who are they, and why can't I? That's interesting. Oh, they're Pruin people. Okay. Very Spartan. I know. There he is.
I'm managing a train terminal, not a morgue.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Such a pleasure to see you again.
Tell me the truth about your appointment as a medic during the war, Rakesh.
The regiment administration appointed me by mistake. I had to learn the job on the spot, sir. Very hard, sir, but I rose to the challenge.
Ah.
Do you realize how many soldiers died because of that decision? You should have refused.
Yes, sir. I swear I did, sir. But no one listened. When the first wounded arrived, I had to do what I could.
It is an unbelievable story, Mr. Chidana.
It was a time beyond belief, Dr. Reed. But I'm happy not to deal with the wounded. I prefer caring for the dead now.
Fair enough.
You can't impersonate a doctor. You can't improvise a medical education. People could die at your hands.
You're absolutely right, sir. But as a field surgeon, it was more like being a butcher.
Do you believe you have really helped these people?
My ratings were within the averages of the regiment. I saved lives, Dr. Reed. Does that not say enough about triage and war surgery?
A pawnbroker? I expect to get all types of people here.
Yes, sir. All kind of people. For I sell all kind of goods.
Who comes here to trade with you? It's very unhygienic, even unsafe. Diseases can spread. For the customers, for the hospital.
I'm very cautious, sir. I've been a doctor, remember? And all my clients are good people. In fact, I think I only know good people.
What kind of goods?
With the quarantine, it's not always easy to buy things. So I trade, I exchange. Some people sell, some others buy. I like to help.
Okay.
Since you're not afraid of dying, do you believe in life after death, Rakesh?
No. I believe we must do all the good we can while alive. for our time is short and the obstacles are endless.
Do you think you would enjoy immortality as a concept?
I don't think so. Don't mistake me. I love life and I'd like to live a long life. But everything has to decay, sir. Even goodwill.
Wow.
Do you really believe goodwill cannot last?
As I said, sir, everything decays. If I was to never die, goodness, I would be bored or worse. And I like to be helpful, sir.
Quite depressing, wouldn't you say?
Yes, but the good news is we'll all die before losing our humanity, sir.
So you're ready to
That's
die?
true.
No, I am not. I don't fear death, for I won't see it. What troubles me is the pain my death will inflict to those I know.
You're a wise man, Mr. Chidana.
No, Dr. Reed. I am a foolish man. But I like to think otherwise.
I love this character. You know when you go, that guy's just smart. Really well written character.
Please show
Wonder
me
what he's
what you
got.
have to sell.
Of course. It's just trinkets and curios, really. But I'm sure they can be useful.
Ferrous tartrate. This was written on a piece of paper. It needs to be analysed. You know what? I'm having it. Where have I got this?
Tomorrow, more bodies will arrive and then sadly depart. I'm managing a train terminal, not a morgue.
Kind of true, in a really weird and depressing way. Right, let's get upstairs. Where's the upstairs? There's the upstairs. Can't remember where I'm going. I'm going to go to my room, wherever I left it. There it is.
It's locked.
I know it's locked.
The flower's dying. It needs water.
Now, I had... treatment for bronchitis, treatment for cold, treatment for pneumonia. Let's make one of those. So let's make a couple. A couple of them. And a couple of them. Oh wow. Sepsis we haven't got. Might as well make one of them. Okay. Which one did I just pick up? That one, a used bludgeon. Mirror grade. No, we need the common handle part. Okay. Oh. Right. Let's do some upgrading. We need to get more money from a bite, don't we? Because that really didn't help us last time. More syringes. Oh, pardon me. You drain your own blood to heal normal and aggravated damage instantly. Ah. Okay. Tactical. Spring. It's damage upon landing. You will exit the shadows. You know what? That one. Unlocked. Awesome. Okay. So we're going to do that one while we can. We do that one? We can. Awesome. Claws. Yeah, I did think about it. But in the end, I like the blood spear. It's perfectly acceptable. And I can always get the claws next. I've now got ultimates, you see. Rage is good. Anyway. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is the end of today's stream. We are going to go, and after all of that, we're going to go and relax a little bit, I think. It's rather important that we all chill out and have a nice, relaxed time. If I can find out where the buttons have gone that I want. There they are. We're going to go and raid the boy, Mrs. Solisto. Thank you ever so much, everyone, for watching. Thank you for your support. Thank you for the love. Thank you for sharing. It's been loads of fun. I will see you on the flip side. We'll continue Vampyr next Tuesday. It's been great, as always. I'm assuming it's saved. We're going to go and raid Mr. Solisto, who's playing Peaceful Golf. Do take care, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow evening playing ships, as usual. And I will catch you later. Night, night. Lots of love. King Chicken out. Bye!